Guys, I am not bullshitting you when I say I really found the meaning of life at 19 years old. I have 100% confidence in tell you guys that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys a story, right? Around 19 years old and kind of about my life, about what happened that made me find the meaning of life. And then I'm going to tell you what the meaning of life is. And the reason why I'm kind of telling you the story is that as you kind of listen to the story and I kind of progress on through, I want you to maybe you'll eventually put yourself in the same type of scenario. That way you can get to what my mind is really feeling and just, I don't know, feel the type of feelings I'm feeling and just see what the meaning of life is for yourself too. All right, guys, first of all, you can't really address the meaning of life without really addressing the cycle of hatred. Nobody is really like born into this life or comes in, right, just into life. And it's just like, oh, I want to hurt people. I have negative energy or I'm edgier. You know what I mean? Like nobody comes in with negative energy like that. People, the environment people grew up in and the people that had relationships with them from being a small kid or a baby and kind of growing up is really what determines and tells how people are going to be in life. That environment can really be horrible and really be negative for some people out there. And honestly, when you think about it, it's not that person's fault at all. Nobody can choose the cards people are dealt with in life. And once that person kind of amasses that negative energy from that environment, that place they kind of grew up in, what they end up doing is, this is where the cycle of hatred comes in. They end up kind of reflecting onto other people's lives, right? Because then you get to a point where if nobody was there for you, and it makes sense, if nobody was there for you, why should you be there for anyone else? And so once they have such a negative, dark background, they reflect that negative energy onto other people, right? And that's where the kind of cycle of hatred comes in. Once you reflect negative energy onto someone else, then it's reflected again and then again. You know, you're probably asking yourself, so when does the cycle of hatred end? Now, I was a really shy kid all of my life until around the age of 18. I honestly, growing up, didn't really have any real friends, any real bonds. And honestly, I felt like my life was just on autopilot mode. I didn't really have any special passions. I didn't care so much, I guess, for other people. And, you know, like I was shy. I was a nice kid. You know, of course, teachers, you know, I guess loved me and stuff. Not too much because I wasn't really too special, but there was just nothing like super different about me. I was just the most average Joe you could find. And then around the age of 19, I was fortunate enough to find a group of friends, right? At one of my first job, where it was a group of people I could really, really relate to and I could really connect with. And it was, I guess, really special to me because this group of people, they didn't really judge me for who I was, or they didn't really, you know what I mean, look at my faults or my negatives, or they weren't really too prideful. They just, I guess they were just kind of themselves. And it was special to me because I felt like I could be myself around other people, like my true self, without feeling uncomfortable or feeling judged or feeling whatever. And honestly, it just blew my mind. Like, because in all 18 years of my life, I never had any like special bonds, right? Because as soon as I started being myself and becoming myself and figuring out everything that's special about me, I developed these intense bonds with people. And I realized, and I started realizing how important bonds are and I started like valuing them really, really deeply. And I just started caring for people more. And it started opening me up more and more and more. And as I opened up more and more to like this group of people, I started opening up more to everybody in the world. I started opening up to people I would just see on the sidewalk or see at the gym. And, you know, even then I started going to the gym too around that point in my life. And I was in eventually the best shape of my life around the age of 19 years old. And so it just made me really motivated, really driven. And I never had any like giant special goals in my life, like growing up ever, or even thought any highly than college. You know, at the age of 18, I didn't even really want to go to college. I wasn't even really like looking for anything like once I graduated high school. It made me really happy that I could be myself around others, like 100% myself, and just show myself who I was. And just, it made me like learn a lot of things about myself and just figure out that I really am a Leo. I really am a dancer. I really do love, you know what I mean? I have all these different hobbies and passions, even like a passion and love for YouTube, making YouTube videos. You know, honestly, 5 years ago, I never would have thought I'd have the confidence or any type of skill to be able to do something like this, because I was such a shy kid. And, you know, I did have public speaking fear. I still do, you know what I mean? But I never realized that I have so many skills that I just never used all my life. Me finding people I was super comfortable around really changed my life and really opened me up. And me opening up more and more is really the determining factor that really helped me change my life and just become the new person I was always meant to be. Now I have giant goals in my life that go straight through the ceiling. Honestly, guys, like, I want to do crazy and insane things. Of course, I want to be successful on my YouTube channel too, but I want to do things like become a rapper. I want to do things like change the world in so many different ways. And I just have so many crazy plans. And once you kind of get to this state of being where you just advance yourself so much and much and much, you get to a point where you realize there's no goal that you can't accomplish, right? if you can be amazing and you can be yourself in front of everyone, you just don't really care about what anyone thinks. And you're just, I guess, so happy and driven. You get to a point where you can do really any goal you want to in the world. And you just go after what makes you happy and you do your best, I guess. And I'll kind of get to this in a second to make others happy too. But like, I have a lot of stuff I want to do. And you know what I mean? It kind of hit me. I kind of realized that why can't everyone in the world get to this point, to this peak? You know what I mean? Get to this place where you're so happy and so driven and so motivated and just doing what you want to do. And you get to a point where you just open up yourself, and then you open up yourself to others, and then you open up yourself to the world, and you just discover everything that's special about you. And then I realized that everyone getting to this peak, to this state of mind, it is possible, but it's only possible, kind of going back to what I said earlier, if this cycle of hatred ends. And there's honestly only one way to really end it, and this kind of also goes back to what I said earlier about the meaning of life, is the meaning of life really is you opening up yourself, discovering yourself, kind of discovering your passions, opening up yourself so much, and just being so comfortable with others and just kind of climbing more and more that you become this beacon of light. You become this pillar of just love, I guess. And you start pouring, this love coming from within yourself that you've given yourself. It starts coming out and it starts pouring onto other people, and you start opening up other people. And then they start becoming a pillar of light, and they start reflecting that overwhelming love onto other people. And it's a process that repeats and repeats, just like, it's like the opposite of the cycle of hatred. So you can call it, I guess, the cycle of love or something like that, I guess. But it's really just something amazing and beautiful that just repeats and repeats. And it's something that makes sense. The cycle of hatred is meaningless. It shouldn't be there at all. But the cycle of love, it repeats and repeats, and it's like a tree branch that just keeps stemming from people to people. It's just amazing. It's honestly the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. And it's just crazy to think about how I discovered at such a young age through these simple things, like simple, small building blocks, like just going to the gym and just finding a really good group of people and just not being afraid to be myself and not caring about being judged by other people, and ditching things like pride and useless stuff like that. Because honestly, guys, at the end of the day, I can't go back in the past and go to everyone's environment they grew up in and change what happened to them, change past events. But I can, now that I'm older and now that I have all these special and amazing passions and skills about me, pour that overwhelming love into other people that makes them open up and makes them become just a beacon of love and light and whatever you want to call it. I can do that now, and I can change the world and change it in such a way where I make the world a much, much, much better place. But I'm not the only one who has that power. You have that power too. So that's all I really have for today, guys. So if you I love talking about philosophical stuff like this. If you love watching these philosophical type of videos, go to the comments and just comment, I want to see another philosophical video or something like that. And I will get right away to writing the next one. But other than that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and of course, the most important thing, be safe.